Today, I want to talk to you about something that sits right at the intersection of creativity and business. Whether you're an artist, a workshop facilitator, a membership creator, a healer, or someone who brings meaningful experiences into the world, this conversation is for you. Because so many people doing the deep, valuable work struggle not with the creativity part, but with how to sustain it. And usually it's not because they're doing something wrong. It's because they're carrying a set of quiet myths about creativity and business that were never designed to support them. So in this episode, I want to unpack 7 myths that keep creative, experience-based businesses smaller than they need to be, and offer a more supportive way forward. So if you ever felt tension between what you create and how you sustain it, you're in the right place. My name's Leah Guzman. I'm a board-certified art therapist and professional artist, and I've had over 20 years of experience of practicing art therapy, a whole life of creating art. And the past several years, I've created a really thriving business. And I want to share some myths that might be stopping you if you have a business right now and are curious about how to grow it, okay? So that first myth, if the work is good enough, it will naturally succeed. Okay, so if you're thinking that if you're good enough, it will just naturally happen, then I want you to think a little bit differently about this, okay? This myth shows up everywhere in our art, it shows up in workshops, memberships, creative services. The idea that if something is meaningful, if it's aligned and transformative, like if it's really powerful, it should automatically find its people. The truth is, quality doesn't equal visibility. Creative work needs context. People need help understanding what problem it is that you solve. They need to understand who it's for, and they need to know why it matters now and why does it matter to them, right? So it's really that marketing message of like putting your important work out into the world. So business isn't about diluting creativity. It's about translating it so that people, the right people, can recognize its value. All right, let's move on to myth number 2. Structure kills creativity. All right, so many creative people resist structure because they associate it with rigidity, right? But in practice, structure is what allows creativity to continue and thrive. So without structure, creativity becomes inconsistent, exhausting, and it's only dependent on your motivation, right? Like when you feel like showing up. But really, when you create that structure, when you create a simple container, like a schedule, an offer, a format, it doesn't limit your creativity, it protects it. So think of a structure as a bowl, a container that holds water. And without it, everything spills out, right? So you need that structure so that you can build upon it. So myth number 3, you have to choose between depth and scale. So there's this belief that meaningful work can only exist in small, intimate settings. But depth isn't about size, it's about design. Workshops, memberships, creative programs, they can be deeply impactful and sustainable when they're designed with care, right? When you're really thinking about the people who are there and what their needs are. So scaling doesn't mean losing integrity. It means clarifying your core message. It means creating repeatable experiences and trusting that your work can reach more people without you being everywhere at once. So moving to a myth number 4, that you need to be confident or charismatic to lead. A lot of people doing creative or facilitative work believe leadership requires confidence, certainty, or a big personality. In reality, presence matters more than performance. I would like to say it's energy. Like people feel your energy, right? They want to know that you're competent, right? So, there is confidence there, but they also want to know that you can hold space for them. So people don't engage because you have all the answers, that you know everything. They engage because you're attuned, that you're grounded, and you're able to hold space for those big things that come up for them. So leadership in creative business is less about convincing and more about creating safety and clarity. All right, moving on to myth number 5. Business is separate from creativity. So this myth creates uncertain like friction that doesn't need to be there. So creativity and businesses are not opposites. They're different expressions of the same impulse. So to create something that didn't exist before, right? So business asks questions like, how does this move? How does it reach people? How does it sustain itself? When business is approached creatively, it becomes adaptive, not restrictive. right? Your business can be fun. Your business model can be fun. What you provide can be fun. And when you can think of it of more of like a game, right? It gets to be creative, and you get to look at it in a different lens as something that is scary and you don't know about. You just have to learn some structure and ways to creatively put yourself out there. Another myth that comes up for creatives is that, this is number 6, success has a single look. So for some, success looks like growth and visibility. For others, it looks like consistency and calm. So you really got to know, what does success look like for you? A creative business is successful when it fits your capacity, respects your nervous system, supports your life, not just your output. So comparison often pulls us away from what actually works for us. So there's no universal, model here. It's just like alignment of like what you're standing for and what you want to provide, and then being able to reach your people. And then myth number 7, you have to wait until it's fully formed. Oh, I see so many creatives get stuck in this one. Yes, they have this idea to create this amazing course or create, this, whatever it is, amazing, a book or whatever it is they want to put out into the world and share, their website and with all the beautiful paintings, whatever it is. But they feel like it needs to be perfect. It feels like it needs to be completely done before they even tell people about it. Oh, and this is tough, because time they finish that special project that is beautifully packaged, they don't know how to let people know about it, right? They kind of lose their oomph, and they're like, oh, did that. Okay, now what's next? And so people wait too long before they even share what they are creating. And this is where I want you to, just realize that you don't have to wait till it's fully formed. You actually co-create with your community, right? This is one of the biggest myth busters, is that you can start before you've even created the course. You can create the course with your community. You want to build your community first and say, hey, what do you want? What's interesting you? Where are you struggling? What are your needs? And then make it for them. And that's what is exciting, right? Because you are meeting the needs of your people. Like, what do they want to learn? Are they wanting to learn new art techniques? Are they wanting to learn how to get rid of stress through their art practices? Are they wanting to relieve some anxiety and learn new techniques through that book that you're creating? You don't want to stay in this like draft mode, as you can say, like this unfinished project. You want to like let your people know that like you are creating something, and you want to hear from them of like what they want as well, so that it is a co-creation. You're working together, and then you're going to have people that are interested, right? And that's where you're going to have more clarity and interaction, because you're there of service. You're there to make people's lives better in some way, right? You don't want to do this in isolation. You really want to be able to, build relationships. And then through those relationships, people will trust you, know you, like you, and then want to work with you. And that takes time, right? It's like when you think about that cold audience and they don't know you yet. But when you can show up in a consistent way, that's that business part and that structure, saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to show up and share my message with the world. They're going to say, hey, what is she talking about? They might ignore you at first, and that's okay. But then when they see you show up again and you say, well, this message is important, you need to hear this, they'll start to lean in and say, wait, what she's talking about? I want to know more, right? This clarity of your voice coming through, your message showing up, this is your business. This is your brand, right? You become stronger by that consistency, by that structure. And that's how you build relationships with people. That's how you start to grow your community, right? It's not about being perfect and having the work done. It's more about the evolution and letting it live, letting it evolve, right? And how it can change along the way, okay? That's what's exciting. And I've learned this for myself and my own businesses, and how I start with something and then it totally changed. Like even my membership has changed in the past 5 years of just listening to the community, and they do want to learn more art techniques, and they do want to meet on Monday evenings on a consistent basis so that they have nervous system feels regulated for the rest of the week. Or if they want to learn more about grief, I'm hearing them, and then I'll find someone to support us on this journey. That's what's fun, right? Is to find out what the needs are and then create content, create things that are going to serve your audience, your people, and yourself. If there's one thing I hope you take from this episode, it's that creativity and business don't have to be in conflict, right? When they support each other, your work becomes sustainable, more spacious, and more impactful. The question isn't, how do I make this bigger? It's really about, how do I let this work continue without burning myself out, right? That's what that structure is about. I want to thank you so much for being here and for bringing your creative work into the world. It is so important. It's so healing. You are lifting yourself up by creating, but you're also lighting up the world by sharing it. Thank you. And if you want to learn more about creative practices, about how to run a successful creative business, you're welcome to check out leahguzmanstudio.com for more courses and inspiration.